to say, you know, we need to go out and make sure people have the opportunity to have this. And so my involvement, it was the coldest day I think I've spent ever, and we went out and knocked on doors. And it was really interesting was we would knock on doors and ask people if they had a smoke alarm and hand out information. You know, some people thought we were coming there to arrest them or you know, I don't know, they were kind of scared and kind of nervous. But what's really interesting is the number of people that said, you know, I think I have a smoke alarm, or I haven't checked my battery, and oh, I don't have one. And we walked block after block after block, and then went back to the American Red Cross and saw all the volunteers that came, and then that's continuing. You know, that's a continuing story. So reaching out in the neighborhoods that they serve does make a difference.
When you look back on your time and the change, the transformation of Council Bluffs, how would you describe that? If you could give that a physical, a human characteristic, what would that be and why?
Well, you know, and I look at, I was looking at it, you know, I mean, I talked about the two disasters we had, that the worst two disasters, you know, the tornado of '88 and the flood of 2011. And as a community in 1988, I don't think there were any expectations that we could make it. I don't think the public looked at it and said, you know, I'm not sure that our government, our people can really make a difference to make this work. We're scared to death and we don't know if it'll happen. In 2011, the expectations were totally different. There was a belief in the system. There was a belief that the city, the state, the county, and the people that in general could make a difference. There was no fear. I mean, you know, there were fear out there, but, you know, people didn't show it. They expected that, you know, these things are going to happen. Yeah, we've gone through a disaster, but it's going to work out. The expectations just changed. So I think that kind of reflects on what I saw in those 25 years. People feel better. When we first went out for our first meetings in the neighborhoods back in 1990, people didn't have a good feel about themselves. Didn't, you know, the government wasn't really their friend, and they weren't sure that they could really get anything done. And as we leave, you know, people feel a lot better. They can see some improvements. It's really nice to see young people staying here, you know, raising their families. You know, people moving into the area, new industry and development. You could just get a feeling there. It was just a, you know, it's a hard way to explain things, but I think it's pretty, you know, to me, I just saw it different. The expectations weren't there, and the expectations are there now. We can make it.
Let's talk a little bit about the expectations and, you know, some people's views. Some very notable people on the other side of the river have said some not so nice things about Council Bluffs while you were mayor. How did that impact you? Or did it impact you, or did it drive you to prove them wrong?
Well, you know, and this has been going on for a long time. My mother used to tell the story when she used to catch a bus when she first here, before I was born. She'd catch a bus and go to downtown Omaha and go to work. She was working with Boys Town. And the bus driver would say to her, you know, oh, you people from Council Bluffs coming over taking all our jobs away. Or my dad working at the shops in downtown Omaha with my grandfather and my uncle. You know, they took the, you know, Council Bluffs was Council Bluffs, and here you guys are. But, you know, I always accepted it as, you know, we don't have to accept that. You know, and then once I moved into office, you know, I took some barbs, no doubt about it. You know, some of the things that were said were incredibly stupid. And that just made me a little bit tougher. I think when Mayor Hal Dobbs said something about the city being an X-rated community, worst statement he could have made. He apologized 1,000 times. You know, he didn't mean it in that context, accordingly. But what happened is the people of Council Bluffs said, yeah, Hal, enough's enough. You know, we don't need to hear that. Or other folk making comments. It really it made a difference. And so when I got an opportunity to speak in Omaha, which I got to speak a lot, I always kind of put the spin on it, that we're a little bit better than we think. But we are part of the metropolitan area. And it doesn't make any sense for us to say that this is better than that. We live in a metro area, we thrive in a metro area, and we have to have respect of each other. And I think that really drove the community in general. It made me a different person. I mean, I remember somebody asked me a question in Omaha at a speaking engagement, and I'd fire back in a kind and gentle way, but I'd always stick the barb right back at them. So that was just my style. I just think that sometimes you have to be above that, and we do a lot of cooperation together. I mean, now we're economic development. We're together. You know, during the disasters you know, that we went through, we were together. This economic development is going to make a difference. I think that, you know, our future is pretty bright because we have to deal with those things, but we can never be. We're different than any other city in the state of Iowa. We live in the largest metropolitan area in the state of Iowa, and because in the largest city is on the other side of the river, different than anybody else. So we have to deal with things a little bit different.
How would you define what a hero is?
Oh boy, you know, to me, a hero is someone who is willing to do what they can do to make it a better situation without thinking. It's not you know, there are calculating ways of doing things, but real heroes are people that are willing to stand up, be counted, not back off, and move on, and make a difference in people's lives.
Do you consider yourself a hero then, based on your definition?
You know, I don't. You know, you know, and again, during the years where I saw, there are some people out there. Best thing I ever heard was from a gentleman, Red Nelson. I didn't know Red. I was in his office shortly after I got elected. And he said, Tom, there are going to be some people out there that you have respect for, and they are respected people in the community, that you will find are not the people that really make a difference in the community. There are people out there that you don't know today, that you're going to learn that they're going to be the difference make in someone's lives. So I look at people who make differences on decision making and thoughtfulness long term. And so I don't consider myself, I came in at a perfect time in life. The community has changed. We had a lot of people that wanted things to change, and we were able to do it with cooperation. Great city councils, good staff members, working with the state legislature and the federal government. So it's a team effort. Never about we, or never about me, it's always been about we.
Say that one more time.
Never about me, it's always been about we.
Anything else you want to add?
No?
About
I think I can
receiving
talk
this
forever,
award?
you know.
Do you have any other questions?
No.
All right. Oh, I do have one more question, sorry. So another one of our award recipients will be given to Mr. Charles Lankin.
Oh, good.
And I'm wondering if you could briefly talk with me about Mr. Lankin. Tell me about working with him, how that's impacted you, how it's changed you.
Well, you know, and I met Mr. Lankin and his family as he was moving into with the American Red Cross and the cooperative effort. Very interesting person. What's really interesting, now there you talk about somebody as a hero. He said that, and I just read an excerpt of his, that he just received the Heritage Award. And his excerpt said it's never been about what about me or what I can do, or never been about making me better. It's about really making a difference in the community. And if you look at, you know, he came from western Iowa and has really made a difference in our community and throughout the whole western Iowa area. And, you know, it's been incredible. But he's just got him and his family. He got some, you know, his son. We talked because he couldn't be at the award that night, and him and his wife. And he's just been a guy that really looks at things and sees if he can make a difference by doing something he can make a difference to a lot of people. And children are important to him. Families are important to him. And when somebody like that can reach out and say, gee, I can make a difference, he's quite a guy. I've met him 3 or 4 times. We've gone through the different programs that we had to do at the American Red Cross, a cooperative effort. I saw him at the groundbreaking for Habitat for Humanity. Met with his son at the Habitat for Humanity. I mean, it's an amazing story. He's an individual that has made a difference to thousands and thousands of people. But it's really important. He's made a difference today that's going to carry on to the future.
Mr. Lankin will not be able to join us for our a Night of Heroes and Jazz, formerly known as Wine and Jazz.
Yeah.
But if their family think of their family as the camera, what would you want to say to the family about Charles?
Look at the camera.
Go ahead and look at the camera.
Okay. Well, Charles and his wife and his family, I mean, what's important to him has always been, what I've estimated is, he's always important to him is his family. And what he has been able to do is expand his family and make a difference to a new family. Thousands and thousands of people are affected by some of the things that he's done. And he's not done. He's not concerned about himself or putting a name out there. He's worried about, he's really concerned about making a difference in western Iowa and throughout the world, literally. So congratulations, and you got a great dad, and a great mom, and a great family.